Welcome. Thank you for attending our Levy presentation this evening. I hope you have a chance to see our flyer. It's coming out this week. Our purpose tonight in talking about the Ritzville School Levy is our 2-year replacement educational programs and operations levies. And we want to review some of the work in our schools, provide funding and resources and information, and also take any questions anyone might have. So let's get started. If you can stick with me for about 10 minutes, we should be pretty brief and have a chance to have questions answered. We've been working diligently at developing and establishing a clear vision for student learning and success and the supporting work of the mission to get us there. We're very committed to these goals and very determined to see that every student succeeds. And I really want you to know this is a high priority for myself and for the other administrators who work on this plan and work on supporting plans for the plan. We strive to be intentional in how we support faculty and staff in carrying out our vision and our mission for student learning. And levy dollars play a major role in the shaping of this vision and the success of our mission. So here's the Ritzville Cooperative Schools vision and mission for student learning statement that's at the heart of our strategic plan. You've probably seen this document before. This is a very real, living document from which we do a great deal of planning and work to achieve the goals that we have for our students. We spend a significant amount of time and energy on supporting this work. And every district leader has their priorities. There are things that drive them, and providing the best learning experience we possibly can for students is what drives me. That's what gets me up every morning. There's a real practical financial side to this work as well. The majority of our funding, as you probably know, is based on the number of students. We want to provide our kiddos with the best education possible, and we also want to be an attractive school system for those considering moving to our community. So to further support the kinds of experiences and the opportunities we want students to have, we have continued working hard to acquire further funding to complement and supplement our enrichment levy. I'm really pleased to share that over the last 2 years, Ritzville Cooperative Schools has been supported by more than $3 million in additional funds coming through state and federal grants. These funds have provided and continue providing for some exceptional opportunities for our students, including state-of-the-art equipment, technology, resources, and fantastic learning and enrichment experiences. So receiving these funds is made possible by the many extra hours administrators and staff selflessly give in support of students. Now I want to draw attention to some areas from the levy flyer that you received. You know, it's about so much more than athletics. We operate on a cash basis while doing our best to maintain a relatively small 2-month expenses reserve, just like any responsible household would want to do, have a reserve. As mentioned, we actively seek funding through grants to increase services and opportunities. But we really rely upon levy dollars for many of our student services and programs, nurses, counselors, custodial staff, maintenance, facilities, secretaries, admin, music, all the enrichment programs, coaches from every program, the most costly of which are really non-athletics, are all funded with levy dollars. Total collections for the replacement educational and operations levy for 2025 for Ritzville will be $641,000, and the total for 2026 will be $665,000. This represents 15% of our overall budget. So you can see a pretty significant number. General facility maintenance and repairs, that's things like custodial grounds, maintenance staff, building supplies, routine repairs. Example of a routine repair, we recently spent $5,000 on a heating unit that went out in one of our buildings. Any preventative maintenance, compliance with safety and health issues, and all utility costs are funded by levy dollars. Now, the state does allocate what's typically referred to as MSOC for operating cost, but doesn't come close to covering all of those costs. So another example of that funding gap is in the increased insurance premiums we were surprised by this year that raised nearly 53%, and they're expected to have a significant increase again next year. That was not just our district, but all districts were caught off guard by that. Other areas, technology, Student record support systems, contracted support, copy machines, web hosting fees, system maintenance and upgrades. Extracurricular activities, that's salaries and benefits, equipment, field trips, any extra bus trips. Food services, all the salaries and benefits there, and any unfunded costs, which are significant in food services. Transportation department, any cost above and beyond state allocation. School support, just cost and above and beyond the allocation for certificated staff, administration, classified staff. That includes secretaries, district business office, nurse, counselor. And then all other items above and beyond state allocations like insurance, I just mentioned, motor pool, attorney fees, assessment cost, any audit fees, and many more. So here in the flyer, you're going to find the average homeowner cost. You will also notice that the levy rates per 1,000 assessed value have come down from 2 years ago to $1.98 per thousand. This, of course, is determined by tax appraisal values, which we do not control. The total amount collected over the next 2 years of $1,131,300 and $1,174,250 is fixed by the state. It is estimated that the rate per thousand will drop again to $1.83 per thousand assessed value in the year 2026 collection. So the capital levy is set to collect $50,000 in 2025 and another $50,000 in 2026. So that's the two separate levies. With these local funds and state funds, one might assume that schools are in really good shape. Well, sadly, a number of school districts, 8 so far, I believe, in the state, have become insolvent and have been taken over by the state, and they're projecting more to follow. And the fact is that state funding is not matching inflationary costs right now. Prime example of this is funding for, as I mentioned earlier, MSOC, maintenance, supplies, operation costs. It's not rising at a rate to match inflation. The current MSOC funding gap for Ritzville is a negative 35.64% between the actual cost and the MSOC funding. You add insurance and other vendor increases, and you can see why more and more districts are falling behind. At the current funding ratios, we do expect to see a steady decrease in our fund balance cash reserve, which we have worked diligently over the past 5 years to build up. And over the next few years, we're going to have to really look at how we're going to bring things in balance with those costs. And that's one reason we spend a great deal of time and effort on legislative advocacy for our schools. And we are part of a collection of school districts in Eastern Washington that do advocate for schools together with our legislatures. Final look at the facts about the levy. This again is a 2-year replacement levy with will fund general facility maintenance repairs, including, as I said, custodial, grounds and maintenance and staff, and any supplies, any compliance with safety and health issues and utilities. The levy will fund technology, student record systems, contracted support, copy machines, web hosting fees, system maintenance and upgrades. The separate capital levy will fund the devices to keep our students with current devices and up to date with technology. Yeah, any extracurricular activities, salaries, equipment, field trips, extra bus trips, food services, as I mentioned, all the salaries and unfunded costs there. Transportation cost. That would be things like motor pool, for example. We don't receive any money for our Suburbans or vans. That all comes out of local funds. And then school support. Cost above and beyond state allocation for teachers, paraprofessionals, administrators, secretaries, district staff, nurse, and counselor. So more than 80% of our budget is for staffing, which is very typical in any district. And the difference between the number of full-time employees we have working in our district and what the state funds is 17 full-time employees. That's 17 employees that we have to fund locally that we do not receive state funding for. I can assure you we look really hard at our staffing numbers before, during, and after each school year, and we really don't carry any non-essential personnel. In fact, we are often having to say no to requests for additional staffing. Sometimes that's being requested for very good reasons, just because the money simply is not there. So again, we really, really appreciate your past support, and we hope you'll continue to support us and make our schools the very best for our kids and our communities. And please remember to get out and vote February 13th. All right, thank you for taking time to listen to my presentation. If there's any questions, I can take those now. All right, looks like we don't have any questions currently. If something does come up, please feel free to either call me or email me. I'd be happy to talk to you about anything at length that you'd like to know more about. All right, thank you so much.